Have you ever experienced happiness shaming? Yes, happiness shaming. Maybe you don't even know what that is or what I'm talking about. But probably all of us at some point in our life have experienced happiness shaming, or we've done it to someone else. So that's what's on my mind tonight. And I'm Arian Alexander. I'm the Rock Your Life coach. And I have had some awesome experiences lately around happiness shaming. So tonight I wanted to share with you some of my own experiences around happiness shaming and see if you can relate and see if you've had some of the same. So what is happiness shaming? Well, let me give you the example. I was dating this guy, a really good, great guy, and I'm pretty much happy most of the time in my life. And so when I would see him, I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? It's good to see you." And he would go, "You're so happy all the time." And I was like, "Yeah, I am pretty happy all the time." And he's like, "I don't really think anyone's that happy all the time." And so instead of staying in my fullness and staying in my delight and my happiness, which happens most of the time on the planet, I shrunk. I totally shrunk myself, and I went, "Oh, well, I'm not happy all the time." I mean, trust me, I have my issues. Oh, don't get me wrong. I've got things that I'm working on in my life, and it's not all puppies and rainbows. And I literally felt myself shrinking to meet the energy of this person who was not in his fullness and not in his happiness. So that's what I mean by happiness shaming. So if you have ever felt yourself shrink when you're talking to somebody around your own joy or your own enthusiasm, or when things are really going well in your life, just click your like button. And I love to see all the little flowers and faces and hearts that fly across my screen. It's so fun. Because our true nature is to live in happiness and to live in joy and to live in enthusiasm. But in this world we live in, it's like it's turned around. Most people think we have to struggle all the time, and like that's the normal state of being. And so how you can see how this shows up is how when you connect with someone and you start talking to someone, start noticing where we connect on what Caroline Myss, this amazing author, calls woundology, how we connect on our wounds. So what happens is we'll meet someone, or we'll be at a party talking to someone, and we'll be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And they'll be like, instead of being like, "Wow, like everything's amazing and I'm so happy, my life's awesome," we'll tend to go, "Well, you know, like I'm building my business, but it's been really hard, and you know, I'm dating, but like, oh my God, it's so hard out there." Or like, "Yeah, me and my husband, we're good, but like we're going through some stuff right now." And so people definitely dim their light in order to connect, because it's easier to connect sometimes on the woundology and go, "Oh, I totally get it. Here's what's happening in my world. Yeah, I get it. It's hard and it's a struggle, and oh, well, you should do this and you should do this." So do you see, if you've ever had those conversations, you can hit your like button, and I see like hearts flying across, and it's so fun to see you all, Candace and Gigi and Jimmy and Jeff and all you people that are on tonight. It's so fun to see you on here. And comment if there's any areas in your life where you can relate to this, where you either had your happiness, where you've dimmed your light and have your happiness shamed, or you've done it to another person and didn't even know you were doing it. Just click yes in the comments, and because pretty much we've all had this experience. So what I found for myself was I want to stay in my fullness. And do you want to stay in your fullness and stay in your joy and happiness? Even if you're not like happy most of the time, because we all have life, we all have things we're going through. But you know, for the most part, we live in America, so we live in a free country where we really get to do a lot of things that we can enjoy. And if you're not doing the things that you want to enjoy, then find what makes you happy. Like really find the small things in life that you can have gratitude for and that make you happy. And then we can live in that place. And the more that we can live in that fullness of gratitude and appreciation for what is right now, and live in that happiness and not have to shrink to meet others, because I tell you, there's a lot of unhappy people in the world, right? Like there's a lot of people who just have a chip on their shoulder or live in a victim mentality, and that's okay. That's their experience of life. But you don't have to live that way. And the more that for myself, where I have found my greatest strength and my greatest joy is to stay in my happiness, in my fullness, in my joy, in my enthusiasm, and to meet people from that place and not shrink to meet them. Because the minute that I shrink to try to accommodate somebody else, to try to make somebody else feel better, because my life's pretty awesome. And yes, can I get, see, I'm doing it right now. I just tried to explain away how awesome my life is. I was going to say like, well, I have my issues, which I do. I have a life. Like I get sad, I get mad. But I would say 95% of my experience of life is very joyful and abundant and enthusiastic. And so the 5% that's not, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to like make it okay for everyone. I'm just going to be in my fullness. And if you can relate to this, if you've ever been in conversation where you've been talking about something that's really awesome and you're really excited about, and the other person can't meet you in that place, that you actually feel like you have to shrink and contract to meet them in their where they're having challenges in life or where they're wounded, just hit your like button and put yes in the comments, because it's so good to have these shared experiences. So I'm curious for you, where does this show up? Like, where can you stay fuller in your life? Where can you expand into your happiness and your joy and not have to shrink to meet somebody else? And I encourage you just to watch it, to just see in conversations in the next few weeks, like where does that, you'll probably have a conversation tomorrow and you'll see it happen, because this happens all the time. We want to connect from our wounds because we can sympathize and empathize in that place. And it's not the norm to stay in our fullness and stay in our light and stay in our zones of genius. That's not like the norm for our society. We're not encouraged as little kids to be like, stay happy all the time and be in your fullness and live in your abundance. It's like, work hard and like get a job and like figure things out. I mean, that's kind of the messages that we're given. So as in this era of time, and you that if you're watching this, I'm obviously speaking to you, and you're conscious and you're aware and you get to choose a different way, just as I do. So I choose to expand and live more in that happiness and that joy and not give a rat's ass what anyone else thinks when I'm walking around happy as can be, dancing, laughing, whatever. Because if people, I invite people to raise to meet me there, not for me to shrink to make somebody feel better. Does that make sense? If you agree, if you, if somebody just, Gigi just commented, disconnect from wounds. Yeah, we don't have to connect on those wounds. We can connect from our loving, from our abundance of life, from our joy in life. So I encourage you to just see in the next couple of days what comes up, where you want to connect on wounds with somebody, and challenge yourself to stay in your fullness, to stay in the things that are awesome to you, to really share from that place of the heart. What, you know, when someone's like, what's happening? What's new with you? Instead of going, Gigi says, you look beautiful. Thank you. If you are having a conversation with someone and you're really excited about something, I encourage you to stay in that excitement and really invite whoever you're speaking to raise in to your experience of joy, instead of you forgetting who you truly are and shrinking to meet somebody else. So does that make sense to y'all? So click your like buttons if you agree, and if you're committed to checking it out for the next couple of days and really watching yourself to see where you connect on the wounds and where it might be a challenge for you to stay in the fullness of life, and see what happens. See how like you get challenged. Great, Gigi's accepting the challenge. I love it. I'd love to hear any of you that are accepting the challenge. I challenge you to stay in your happiness, to stay in your joy, and connect from that place for the next couple days. And comment, leave comments below. I love to hear your comments to see how it works for you, because I love making these videos to share the things that are on my heart and the things that I want to, you know, explore with you and this amazing world and all my coaching clients. And so I love to hear your comments and feedback. So feel free to comment below on anything from this video. And if you like it, share it with your friends. Just when you're watching them live, I don't know if you know, but you can actually click the share button that's to the bottom right, and it'll pause the video for just a minute, and then you share it to your wall. And then it'll come back on. So it just pauses you for just a minute. So please share with your friends, because I would love to connect with more people in these Facebook Live videos, because it's so fun. I'm here every weeknight, like around 6 or 6:30. So you can look for me then. And I trust you're going to stay in your happiness and no more happiness shaming. All right, y'all. Good night.